Listen, if she's pulling back, acting distant, or suddenly seems cold, your first thought is probably that she's losing interest, that she's found someone else, that you did something wrong. But what if I told you the opposite might be true? What if the reason she's creating space isn't because she doesn't care, but because she cares too much? And here's where it gets crazy. There's one specific behavior that 90% of men think means she's done with them, but it's actually the clearest sign she's falling hard. I'll reveal what that is in just a moment. But first, you need to understand why your brain is programmed to misread her signals completely. Because when a woman falls hard, she doesn't always fall forward. Sometimes she falls back. And if you misread that signal, you'll push her away when she's actually trying to pull herself together. I'm going to show you exactly how to read the signs that separate genuine disinterest from emotional overwhelm. And I'll share the one thing you should never do when she starts acting distant. Because if you do it even once, you'll confirm her worst fears about you. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is about understanding female psychology at a depth most men never reach. Stick with me because at the 4-minute mark, I'm going to reveal the scientific reason why women who love you the most often act the coldest. And it has nothing to do with what you think. So, let's start with something most men get completely wrong. The real reason she's acting distant and why it might be the best sign you could ask for. Why she pulls away when she loves you. The psychology will shock you. Picture this. She used to text you constantly. You had inside jokes, late-night conversations that lasted hours. Then suddenly the energy shifts. Her replies get shorter. She's busy more often. The warmth in her voice has a wall behind it. Now you panic. You think you're losing her, so you double down. More texts, more effort, more reassurance, and somehow she gets even more distant. Here's what's actually happening, and this is going to sound backwards at first. When a woman realizes she's falling for you, really falling, her survival instincts kick in. Why? Because vulnerability in today's dating world feels like handing someone a loaded weapon and hoping they don't use it. She's been hurt before. She's seen relationships fall apart. She's watched herself lose control of her emotions and get burned, and now with you, she feels it happening again. That vulnerability, that openness, that terrifying loss of emotional control. But here's the part that will blow your mind. There's a specific psychological phenomenon called emotional flooding, and when it happens, her brain literally can't tell the difference between falling in love and being in danger. Stay with me because this explains everything. When she starts developing deep feelings, her amygdala, the fear center of her brain, lights up the same way it would if she was facing a threat. Her heart rate increases, her cortisol spikes, and her body screams, "Protect yourself." So what does she do? She creates distance to regain power. This isn't manipulation. This isn't a game. This is biology. And 9 out of 10 men have no idea this is happening. She's not rejecting you. She's protecting herself from the possibility of you rejecting her. And here's the kicker. The more attracted she is, the stronger this response becomes. Which means if you want to know if she truly loves you, you don't push harder. You read the signs. But there's one sign in particular that's so counterintuitive, so opposite of what you'd expect, that when I tell you what it is, you're going to think I'm lying. I'll reveal it in the next section. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how she acts completely different around you compared to other guys? Like she's colder with you, but warmer with everyone else? If yes, keep watching because that's not what you think it is. The one sign everyone gets wrong. This will change everything. Before we go deeper, just do one thing for me. Hit the like button because what I'm about to tell you goes against everything you've been taught about women. And if you're still here, you deserve to know the truth. Here's the sign that proves she loves you too much. And it's going to sound insane. She's meaner to you than anyone else in her life. Not abusive, not disrespectful, but she's more comfortable calling you out, more willing to disagree, more likely to tease you or challenge you. And here's why this matters. When a woman is just casually interested, she stays polite, pleasant, agreeable. She keeps her real personality hidden because she hasn't decided if you're worth the risk yet. But when she's in deep, she starts treating you like you're already hers. She'll roast you. She'll call you on your nonsense. She'll drop the perfect girlfriend act and show you the real her, flaws and all. Why? Because subconsciously, she's testing if you can handle her at her worst, if you'll stick around when she's not on her best behavior. This is what psychologists call negative intimacy testing, and it only happens when she's emotionally invested. Most guys misread this completely. They think she's being rude, being cold, losing interest, but she's actually doing the opposite. She's letting you in. Now here's where it gets even crazier, and this is the part most men never see coming. There are 4 more signs that she's overwhelmed by her feelings, and the 4th one is so specific, so unmistakable that if you see it, you'll know for certain she's in love with you. I'm going to walk through all 4. But pay close attention to number 4, because if she's doing that, you need to handle it very carefully. One wrong move and you'll lose her forever. The 4 signs, she's overwhelmed by love. Number 4 is critical. Sign 1, she creates distance but watches from afar. She's not texting you first anymore. She's not liking your posts. But here's the tell. She's still viewing your stories within minutes of you posting them. She's still checking your profile when she thinks you won't notice. She's pulled back physically, but she hasn't disconnected emotionally. This creates what psychologists call approach avoidance conflict. She wants you, but wanting you feels dangerous. So she hovers in the middle, close enough to stay connected, far enough to feel safe. And here's the test. If you suddenly stopped posting for a week, she'd be the first one to reach out asking if you're okay. Because absence creates panic in someone who's already invested. Sign 2. She gets emotional over small things. You cancel plans because of work, and her reaction feels way bigger than it should be. You don't text back for a few hours, and suddenly she's cold. Here's what you need to understand. That's not pettiness. That's investment. When someone doesn't care, they don't react. But when they're in deep, every little action feels like a test of whether you're still there. She's not overreacting. She's revealing how much power you have over her emotions, and that terrifies her. Sign 3. She talks about the future, then pulls it back. She'll mention something weeks or months away. We should go there someday. Then immediately follows it with, I mean, if you're still around or whatever, we'll see. That's fear talking. She's letting herself imagine a future with you, then catching herself and building a wall because hoping feels too risky. And here's the thing most guys miss. She only does this if she's already imagining that future constantly. She's just scared to admit it. But now we get to the big one. The sign that separates I like you from I'm falling in love with you. Sign 4. She tells her friends the opposite of how she really feels. This one is wild, and you might not believe me at first. When a woman is casually dating you, she tells her friends everything. She shows them your texts. She asks for advice. She's open about her interest, but when she's falling hard, she goes quiet. She downplays it. She tells them, you're just a friend or nothing serious. Why would she do that? Because the moment she admits to her friends that she's falling for you, it becomes real. And real means vulnerable. Real means she can get hurt. So she protects herself by pretending she doesn't care as much as she does. And here's how you know this is happening. Her friends act weird around you. They know something she hasn't told you yet. They're watching to see if you're good enough for her. If you've noticed this, congratulations. She's in love with you. She's just scared to death to admit it. But here's where most men screw this up. And I need you to pay attention because this is critical. The one mistake that will push her away forever. When you realize she's overwhelmed by her feelings, your instinct is to reassure her, to tell her you feel the same way, to push for commitment. Don't. Here's why. When she's in this state, pressure feels like suffocation, even well-meaning pressure. She needs to arrive at trust on her own timeline. You can't force it. You can't logic her into feeling safe. So what do you do instead? You give her consistency without pressure. You don't chase. You don't demand explanations. You don't punish her for pulling back. You stay steady. You show up without smothering her. You let her see that you're not going anywhere, but you're also not desperate. When she pulls back, you give her space, but you don't disappear. You check in occasionally with something light, something that says, I'm still here. No pressure. And here's the secret weapon. Most guys never use unpredictable positive reinforcement. If she's texting you every few days, you do the same. If she's opening up a little, you open up a little. You match her pace without overwhelming her. This shows emotional intelligence. It shows you understand what she's going through, and it gives her the breathing room to fall without feeling like she's losing control. But there's one more thing you need to know, and this is the part that will either make or break everything. Stay with me because what I'm about to tell you is the difference between her eventually opening up completely or walking away forever. What happens next? The truth about timing. Here's what most men don't understand about women who are overwhelmed by love. They have a timeline in their head, not for commitment, for safety. She needs to see that you're consistent over weeks, not days. That you don't flip when she's distant. That you don't become needy when she's close. This isn't about playing games. It's about proving through your actions that you're emotionally stable enough to handle her at her most vulnerable. And here's the beautiful part. When she finally feels safe, when those walls come down, the love she's been fighting becomes the love she finally accepts. The distance shrinks, the coldness melts, and suddenly she's the one chasing you. But you have to be patient enough to let that happen naturally. Over time, as she sees you're safe, the approach avoidance conflict resolves itself. Her brain stops seeing love as a threat, and she stops running from the one thing she wants most. That's how you turn fear into trust. And that's how a woman who's overwhelmed by her feelings finally lets herself fall all the way. The real test. I know it's confusing. When you care about someone, you want them to be open, to move toward you, to show you they feel the same way. But sometimes the deepest feelings come wrapped in the most complicated behaviors. She's not avoiding you because she doesn't care. She's avoiding the intensity of how much she does care. And if you can see that, if you can respond with patience instead of panic, you become the safest place she's ever known. That's not just about winning her over. That's about being the kind of man who understands that real love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's scared, sometimes it needs space to grow. If this resonated with you, drop a comment with the word thank you so I know you're serious about understanding her truth, and hit that subscribe button because I'm breaking down more psychology like this every single